By the right of the council, by the will of the force, welcome back into the annual Top 10 Listen to Jedi Talk episodes of 2024. You have been following us at Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.com/Jedi Talk. Thank you for the thousands upon thousands of subscribers we've got over there. YouTube's definitely where the party is. We appreciate your support all year, both positive and negative. I am Atomica here on the High Council, and it's just me this evening. This is like the second year in a row I'm doing this. Did it last year on happenstance. Was just like, hey, I was really curious how many or what were the top 10 most listened to episodes last New Year's Eve. Just, I don't know, random, New Year's Eve thing, countdowns and stuff. And so I looked it up and I was like, fuck, I'll just clip some shit together and throw an episode on. And I know Brad and Evan said they liked it, so I thought we could do it. Carve some time when we're not working, when we're not, doing God knows what. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I enjoyed putting this together. Let's just get to it, Talk about 2024 real quick. Another fantastic year for us, Jedi Talk. Personally, as a podcast, we've done a lot of fantastic things, including a panel at MegaCon. We were able to interview alongside our great friend Rachel Ashbrook, Jason Keller, former Galactic Star Wars performer. We did that at Helsicon. That's just two of many things that we were able to do this year. I could sit here and talk about all that and sound like a jackass, but I just want to get to the countdown because countdowns are fun. So we'll get right to number 10. And I don't have downloads of numbers. I'm just going from 10 to 1. I did the math. Trust it. Yes, trust it. So the 10th most listened to Jedi Talk episode of 2024 was a listener topic, and it was much earlier this year. But it was from Obi Steve, a fantastic listener who we met on the aforementioned Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. And the topic essentially was he asked for us to discuss, and it was a great one. I had a lot of fun in this episode. I remember specifically, what are your top insights from the books and TV series that make this sequel trilogy more enjoyable? Fantastic topic to discuss. And we did.
What do you guys think?
I think so.
Yeah. I think Disney is slowly backing out of Disney Plus, if you want my opinion. I don't think it's going anywhere because I think it's going to be a place where their entire library can live. But I think you're going to see them really stop putting money into original content. I think that's part of the reason they released Mando on Blu-ray, which I completely forgot even existed and need to go buy that immediately.
I know. If you see it, grab it and I'll pay you back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to get that. And it might be on Amazon. It's probably on Amazon. Mm-hmm. But I just have a feeling that Disney Plus didn't it started really strong, but after Mando, a lot of people unsubscribed to watch Mando, and then they kind of resubscribe when it comes back out. I don't know, man. I'm worried about that because I think that as much as I didn't love any of the Star Wars content that was, except Mando, TV shows, I didn't love anything. A lot of it was really good, but nothing I'm like, oh my God, yes, it was so great. Even Obi-Wan fell flat. So I don't know. I think I like Star Wars movies. I think it's just more fun for me to get the build up of the movie and the hype surrounding it and getting excited for trailers and that kind of thing. And I don't feel the same hype around the TV shows that I do the movies. So I'm okay with it. This is something that I called a long time ago.
This galaxy is only as sick as its secrets. You have sought freedom through the Fulcrum. The Fulcrum has seen the truth.
What the hell is this?
We are not yet lost. For the cause!
Join the cause.
All right, so the email we got from Obi Steve, who we met on our podcast, or not podcast, geez, we introduced him to Jedi Talk on our second Halcyon voyage. Hey, Tom, listening to your last Jedi Talk podcast. Now, this was months ago, and we were really busy with some guests and other things, so I wanted to give it a proper topic, which we're doing today. I was just as flabbergasted by the guy who says that all people aren't Star Wars fans if they like the sequel trilogy. Thinking about this issue gave me a topic idea for Jedi Talk. Let me take you down my rabbit hole for a second, let you know where it came from. If someone was ever destined to be an original only guy, it should be me. I was 10 when the original Star Wars film came out, which started a lifelong fascination with space-oriented sci-fi. For me, everything is judged against the original Star Wars movie, my first sci-fi theater experience, which should give me a bias toward the original films. However, where I differ from the naysayers on the sequels is that I took the time to read the canon books and watch the TV series to get the backstories. Once you have the backstories, the sequels are incredibly rich. Once you know the backstories, such as Poe Dameron and the Spice Runners of Kijimi, Luke and Lando looking for Lando's daughter, the hunt of Ochi of Bestoon, the relationship between Leia and Mon Mothma, that bitch, the origins of the Resistance, the aftermath of Endor for the Empire, and the birth of the First Order, the sequels come alive. For instance, knowing that Ahsoka left her lightsaber behind at the end of the Clone Wars when she had a moral dilemma lends credence to Luke not wanting his saber in Episode 8. That feels good seeing somebody write that out. I was lukewarm on Episode 9 when I first watched it, but after reading the related books to get the motivations of all the characters, I love it. The sequel trilogy has very deep character arcs, and if you spend the time to know the characters, this makes the sequel trilogy a much deeper viewing experience than the George Lucas-made prequel trilogy and has more stories to tell than the original trilogy. All that to say, I agree with you that there are people who don't spend the time to know the stories into it, have no room to accuse those of us who do not as being fans. So it's like, if you don't spend the time like we do, you can't accuse us of not being fans. This leads me to the requested Jedi Talk topic, gentlemen. What are your top insights from books and TV series that made the sequel trilogy movies even more enjoyable?
I love that idea too.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to
topic.
read and watch everything, but if you do, it does make everything better. So, and we are some of those people that do watch everything, and we try to read a lot. It's impossible to read everything, but I think between the three of us, we have read the majority of Star Wars canon. Not all, because it's impossible, but I would say the majority.
Yeah, give or take. I'll start there, reading.
Big majority, especially for me back in the day. I was reading every single Star Wars book.
Yeah.
Some of them were audio books, but
right.
That counts. You consume that media, so it counts.
Yeah. So for me, the biggest takeaways have been two books in particular. Well, actually three, but one's a negative takeaway. I would say that the book Resistance Reborn has so many of these little character details in it. I know Evan's not a huge fan of this book. Have you ever read it, Tom?
No, I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
I don't even remember it.
It's so good. There's so many little details about who's related to who, and there's some characters that are original trilogy characters that are related to characters that are in the Resistance. I don't want to spoil it because it's a really cool reveal when it finally happens. So I'm not going to.
Oh, thanks, Brad. Don't spoil it.
What do you guys think?
We're not gonna spoil it. So yeah, that was just listening back to that clip. That was such a fun episode to talk about, and thank you again, Obi Steve, for that topic to discuss. It's something we could always bring up later on. And now, if you haven't heard that episode, go back and listen to it. Brad brings up Resistance Reborn, and I've now have consumed that since that almost a year ago episode, and he's right. The things about the characters, and there's so many rich things that happen to the Resistance in that, and that arc between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. There's just lots of things you can do in the future for Disney. I think if they could play it right, there's Leia content there that you could do, maybe some animation. I know Carrie Fisher couldn't lend her voice, but there's some great things you could do. So I don't know. I'm trailing, and just a spoiler alert for what I say on that episode, Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and The Last Jedi go together hand in hand. Yep, I'm going to tout The Last Jedi again. Calm down, everybody. Everybody has their own opinions, okay? Jeez. And we never give anybody shit for having opinions here. I promise you that. All right, number 9. This episode is titled Storytime with Evan, and the Bad Batch Season 3 is here. So, Evan was on a kick of, I think, sharing just like previous guest stories because he revealed that he used to be a cast member post when he was terminated from said company, said Bob Iger company. That's what Evan calls it, so I'm going to plug it for him. But yeah, I'll just get to it. This one was in true Jedi Talk fashion, and again, these downloads are what you voted on. So voted on with your download, the most listened to. The people spoke, and you spoke to want to hear Storytime with Evan again, apparently, because it was the 9th most listened to. And the Bad Batch Season 3 is here. So let's see what we were babbling about those days, because Jedi Talk babbles. Just FYI. I'm babbling now.
It exists because you look at it.
It's observable. So
yes.
like when someone observes something, the fact that you're observing it changes its state.
Right. So it's
I
all
am a
that
scientist, by the
all
way.
that thank you. All that doctor. All that that's a Three Stooges call back, by the way, people.
Which we are. We are Three Stooges.
Very much.
Three Stooges.
Comedy gold. I
Just
love
not
those
as funny
guys
as
so
them,
much.
obviously.
Did you ever see the remake movie that they did?
Yes, I did.
Was it funny?
It was not as bad as it
Could have been.
could have been.
I feel like that could have been a fucking disaster.
Could have
I never
been,
saw it.
but when you realize it's like, okay, they're playing the Three Stooges characters in a modern day world for mid 2000s movie, you're okay with it.
Yeah.
They're not They're not really Moe and Curly Howard. They're not Jerome and Larry Fine. You know, they're not those characters. They're the characters.
Of
Yeah.
the Three Stooges.
So I was okay with that.
Okay. Will Sasso's in that. That's why I was.
I love Will Sasso. Love Will Sasso.
You're gonna love 10-minute podcast.
Yeah, I know. I've
God damn.
when I'm really mad at work, which happens often, I'm gonna put it on. So
there's compilations on YouTube that are
yeah.
like it's like the first 20 episodes, and then 21 to 30.
Yeah.
Like that's the way to do it because they're literally 10 minutes.
That's perfect.
It's such a good idea, though.
Because
if you have a 40-minute commute, you just pop on 4 episodes. If you have a 10-minute commute, pop on 1 episode.
We have a 12-second commute.
Yeah.
It takes me longer than 12 seconds to get to my office.
I went through and binged like a chunk of them because there is a point where like the 3 guys, it was Will, Crystalia, and Brian Callen, and Will Sasso, and there's a point where the other 2 just got too famous and they were off.
Oh sure, yeah.
So they have like fill in and shit. So those aren't as funny. The first like I think 300 are just fucking. There's not a bad one in the bunch. They make these characters that are just so fucking crazy. Like Holly doesn't like podcasts. I made her listen to some and she was like, "This is fucking." She was dying laughing. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it's. I cannot recommend 2-minute podcasts. If you want a YouTube rabbit hole to go down, go back listen to some of those.
Speaking of podcasts, my favorite podcast that isn't one of mine that I run is Two Cool Moms.
Oh yeah, it's on Spotify now, right?
If all y'all can help me, I emailed Steve Byrne to come on Jedi Talk because he's a Star Wars guy. If y'all can help me, reach out to him, tag him in shit, and say, go join Jedi Talk and talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, do it.
Please, at Steve Byrne Live on Instagram.
I'm trying to remember if I ever
He likes people's comments. He will respond to you. He's responded to me. He's liked spread shit.
He likes one of mine that has like a couple hundred likes on his post. The comment does.
Yeah. He's an active comic, but
he's great.
But it wouldn't just be to get a comedian on this show. The dude knows Star Wars, Evan. Like, if you ever listen to Two Cool Moms, he's always talking about it. I think his favorite movie is Return of the Jedi. So
nice.
We want Steve Byrne on Jedi Talk.
That'd be great.
I got off on a tangent. Sorry, I was excited to share that news with you guys.
I'm glad you said something. That's
cool.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So can I just say something about the event?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
I'm very excited about the event.
Me too, Brad.
Yeah, we all are.
I want people to understand. You guys did the most of the grunt work here.
Rachel did.
Rachel
want
50% of this.
people to know that aren't coming. You should be fucking jealous because this thing is going to be so fucking awesome. The shit you guys have planned is so fucking creative. It is so unique. The Aaron's thing.
Yeah. I loved that last
dog.
night.
I don't know how she came up with it, but it's so good.
I cannot stop thinking about how fun that's going to be.
I've said before, I'm obviously nowhere near the man that Walt it was, but this is what I feel like what Walt was, because like he didn't know how to do stuff, but he would get people that did. That's what I did. I was like, I don't know how to do this, but you guys do. So, and then you guys all are like the 9 old men. You guys have come together and made this awesome.
He just compared himself to Walter.
He
White,
did. He compared himself to what?
this had to be
don't
what he.
backtrack now.
No,
Double
I said this
down.
has to be how he felt.
You better
Like,
start. No.
I'm nowhere near the man he was,
just say
and I
you
never
are.
will be.
Just say you're. Say basically say I'm the new Walt Disney. Say it. You know you want to.
I wish. But
Evan, I got something.
I'm gonna go fuck himself.
I got something to say to you, Evan, for comparing yourself to Walt Disney.
Okay.
You shut your mouth, fatty. The Rock will come out there and slap the herpes off your lips.
I thought it was.
I mean, if there's not a better probably clip from this episode that sums up Jedi Talk, it's that one. Oh my God. I mean, you have Evan comparing himself to Walt Disney. Us not even really talking about the Bad Batch at all. And we're a Star Wars podcast, mind you. And we were talking about other podcasts, which is fine, because we were talking about Steve Byrne getting on Jedi Talk. By the way, if you could still tag him, please. And this is before, I want to make something very clear. And Brad talks about the event. This was post the first event that Halcyon and the Legacy Continues put on. Now, Jedi Talk and Halcyon Legacy Continues has nothing to do with each other. Yes, they were brought up on this episode, and there's going to be multiple episodes that we talk about that on this countdown. But since then, we've grown so much, and it's gotten bigger, and it's such its own thing. And Jedi Talk was just a platform for it to be talked about. But now, Halcyon Legacy Continues has its own podcast channel, its own YouTube, and a phenomenal group of people together, just having just the chance to do something that's just so much fun and fulfilling for a lot of individuals. So you're going to hear a lot about the events, but again, just separate things, please. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm asking there. That's what I'm stating, rather. So as we kind of get back rolling on the countdown, number 8 of what you guys top 10 changes that we would make to each Star Wars movie. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
But like that adds to what you're saying about Luke and Rey. If they trained in a day, what the heck? Why didn't Finn and why couldn't Finn? Like, what are we doing?
He was nice with the lightsaber too.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, in the novel, and you can kind of tell in the movie too, Kylo's fucking with him.
And Kylo got shot with the bowcaster, and
But you can tell because he's like at one point he moves his head out of the way, he spins lightsaber. He's like, all right, bitch, hate crime, hate crime.
Evan, what's your 4? Let's get away from that.
But yeah, to do it. Hopefully, in the Rey movies, we get Finn being a
more hate crimes.
No, less, much less.
Less hate crimes. So you want hate crimes?
No, much less. As in -5 hate crimes. I want negative.
A specific number of hate crimes
between
0 and 1.
Half? What is my number 4? Number 4. Okay, my number 4 for
have to be what
mixed. Hate crime is out of mixed. It's like half a hate crime.
Lando's daughter. She's not.
My number 4 is from A New Hope. I would just love to see Coruscant, because if you are watching the Easy Watch Revenge of the Sith, you see Coruscant, but it's all like you see it through all the stages there. Go to episode 4, just see Coruscant, see how it's taken over by the Empire. Like we're seeing in the Bad Batch, like we saw in Survivor, like we're seeing in all these in Andor, we're seeing in all these new things. So like let's see the Imperial Coruscant in the movie though, especially in that time. It'd be cool.
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
I would love. See, that's why a special edition would be dope. You could add stuff like that in.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of did.
The special edition of episode 6, Return of the Jedi. They do at the end. They show all those celebrations, but that's not like occupied by the Empire Coruscant.
Yeah,
that
would be interesting. I would love to see that. My number 4 is. This is probably the most underwhelming one on my list, but it's always bothered me because it looks so bad. I was debating on doing like cutting out some of the walking in the desert with R2 and C-3PO because that goes on for quite a bit and it's just not necessary.
It Lord of the Rings for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You don't even see Obi-Wan until like 50 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
and then it moves really quick.
Hello
after
there.
That. Yeah. Maybe it's not quite that long, but it's long.
Yeah, they don't get to the cantina until like almost 50 minutes in. Yeah. So it's a little sooner for Obi-Wan. But
but it just takes so long to get to him. It's fine. But there's a scene when you finally get to meet Obi-Wan and you get the lightsaber, and it's the scene where Luke turns it on for the first time is the worst.
So
edit.
janky.
Have you ever noticed it? I fucking hate it.
It's like he's holding it here, and then
you
like
had the special editions. You didn't fix it then?
You're fine.
You didn't fix that then? That's one of the worst scenes of that movie. It's literally like we could do it better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like I know it's just at the time and that kind of stuff, and then like the lightsaber doesn't turn on like a lightsaber does, like how we know it now. It's just like all of a sudden, it's like, ping,
yeah,
it's like instantly on.
The
It's like a
blade
light
is all of a
switch.
sudden there. Yeah, blade.
I
no
hate
blade.
it does more to me to like mess with canon than almost anything in Star Wars because it's just so janky, and it's not how any other lightsaber works at any other point in the entire series.
Yeah,
well, it's because Luke was so strong with the Force that it didn't need to like ignite. It just popped. That it was there. Yeah, that's what it is.
Took a boner pill for his lightsaber, just popped out.
Yep.
Well, my number 4, speaking of boner pills, in A New Hope, I just want more Luke struggling with the Force, like using the Force. More of it. Just more of it.
Yeah, we got the one shot.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all. I haven't watched number 3.
Number 3 for Revenge of the Sith. Let's get a scene where they storm the temple. We've got all that awesome badassery and with the music and all that, but let's get a scene where they go and they find the temple guardians, the guards, and we see one of them converted to become the Grand Inquisitor.
Ooh.
It's going to connect Rebels and Kenobi and Jedi Survivor Fallen Order. It's going to connect so many things to see the birth of the Inquisitorius.
You see, that's a fantastic idea, Evan. Disney will take it. What are some changes you would make to Star Wars movies? That was a really fun episode to do. So I would highly recommend go back and just go to that search function. I'll be sure to put in the description of this episode. I'll put each date, which one came out. But if you just go search top 10 changes, what we would make to Star Wars movies in Jedi Talk's catalog that is from this year, what would you change? I'd be really curious to hear that because it's such a fun episode to talk about. So number 7. Now it's interesting that this episode kind of made it here because I'm not on it. So what does that say? Huh? What does that say? Maybe a certain slicer kept downloading it over and over again from multiple computers just to try to fudge the numbers. It's like a common machine. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what happened because I mean, sure, Brad and Evan, but no one's going to keep them two on cue. The episode will be about like 5 hours long. So anyway, they chatted about the Acolyte because the trailer dropped. So they chatted about the trailer. Evan apparently took on Disney Cruises. And it's so funny because Brad titled this "Tom is Gone," so maybe everybody downloaded this because they thought I died, which could have been funny. Hopefully, I don't die.
Hello, everyone. I wasn't even recording, but I would have kept it in for sure.
Darn.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another glorious episode of Jedi Talk. You will notice that there are no music cues here because 2/3 of the council is here today. Tom is off doing some dad stuff, so we are filling in just for him by himself or by ourselves. And by ourselves, I mean it's me and your boy Evan T. Boucher. Evan, we got a throwback episode of Jedi Talk. What the fuck is going on, brother?
Diga, and good journey. Could I even say great journey, even though we're sadly without Tom. But it is going to feel weird because there's been a lot of references in the stuff that's came out that like would really get Tom going. So
I know, dude, especially this last episode of Bad Batch. I feel like he's got a lot of thoughts on this.
Yeah, so we'll do our best to cover it in his honor. But we went from being like, oh, there's no news this week. Let's just do like a top 10 or something to nothing but news.
Right, I know. So just for the listeners who are, listening, obviously, that's why you're listeners, you're listening. Next week, we will do like a rapid fire and just have Tom give his thoughts on these things that we're going to touch on. Do you have like a list ready to go?
I've got a jumble of notes ranging from Star Wars to going to Blizzard Beach for the first time in 20 years, which I just did. So.
Oh, wow. All right, let's start with Star Wars news first. Let's get people invested in with what we're talking about. So I think the first thing, and you can mark this off your list wherever you're at, we got to talk about the Acolyte trailer.
Yeah, man. Of course we do.
What were your thoughts? Because I have thoughts that I feel like you guys weren't as hot on this as I was.
Yeah, no, I'm still crazy excited for the show, but the trailer to me was just fine. You know, but like we all said in our group text, we're very happy it didn't give us anything. It didn't give away anything cool, but it was just like, here's what's going on. There's someone killing Jedi, and we're going to have a show about that. And that was basically it. So, like, that's fine. I'm glad it didn't give anything away. The coolest part for us, like, book fans was seeing Vernestra Rowe. She made, like, a little quick appearance. So, she was the only character from the books.
I didn't even catch that.
She was like there's that one shot of, like, just a lone person walking.
The one shot of what? And Evan's gone.
In the
you
Jedi
there?
chamber.
Oh, there you are. You were gone for a second.
I
feel like we got Kyle on the show here. What's happening with your internet?
I'm not that sure, but
So wait, so she was where in the shot? I missed that. I'm sorry.
Like there's a shot, like I don't know exactly, maybe like almost halfway through the trailer, where it's just a lone woman walking into a doorway in the Jedi chambers or Jedi Council, and that's her.
Oh, have they confirmed that, or is it like fan speculation?
Yeah, like Star Wars database and everything put out character bios for every character that was shown, and she's one of them.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. That's a weird one to pick for like a cameo.
I know.
Unless she's like a major part of the show, which honestly that'd be interesting.
I think she is, but it is weird. You just put out Stellan Geo's lightsaber. He's not there.
Yeah, why would you not go with somebody more mainstream?
Avar Chris is like face of the books, kind of, in a way.
Avar Chris is my favorite Jedi from this time period.
She's awesome, man. I love her.
I love her. She's the best.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get to see some of them, but Vernestra looked like she was like 30-ish years old, and in the books, she's only like maybe 15, 16. So this is kind of good to see her grown up a little bit. A
little further out. I always wonder like what they think of when they're doing like timeline stuff. Because like obviously you could tell this story, and if you interchange the characters, it can just be told at any point in the timeline, right? Previous to where we're at. So I always wonder like why they pick certain things. I mean that's a conversation that we can't even answer.
And I don't think Disney could answer that now, especially with how the Acolyte performed. And say what you want about the Acolyte, I don't know. It was doomed from the start because of the fandom, and there's a lot of fantastic stuff in the Acolyte, and I truly do believe there was enough for a season 2, especially with that Darth Plagueis cameo there. Some great stuff there. That final episode, Bleeding That Crystal. Anyway, that was our 10, 9, 8, 7, 7th most listened to, number 6. Number 6 was from our Star Wars Podcast Day 2024 edition. This was a really cool episode because for the second year in a row, we welcomed back Lucian Meyer, who is the original host, not of this Jedi Talk podcast, but there was another Jedi Talk podcast, like back in the day, I'm talking like 1999, and he was the OG host, the godfather of Star Wars podcasting. So we brought him on, and then we shared the full audio from our MegaCon panel, because it was just gotten done the few days prior, so a really fun week. So take a listen to our Star Wars Podcast Day episode.
However, if they're talking about Star Wars, they're already in our hearts, because we're all doing the same thing, and it gives us a space to do so. But for those of you that don't know, we're not the first Jedi Talk.
No.
And Brad did not steal it, but I'll let Brad explain that real quick before we introduce our guest.
So back before The Force Awakens was coming out, I was doing a podcast called the Daily Disney Blog Podcast, and I started doing covering Star Wars because I was getting so hyped for The Force Awakens. I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan my entire life, and I was starting to just talk too much about Star Wars for it being like a Disney podcast. Granted, it is Disney, but people who listen to Disney Park stuff don't necessarily want to hear about Star Wars stuff. So I decided I wanted to make it my own show. And so it was still on the Daily Disney Blog Podcast Network, which is what you're listening to now. And we decided to just change it to the name I came up with Jedi Talk. Now, how did I come up with the name Jedi Talk? I was a huge fan of Collider Movie Talk back in the day. And they had a show called it was the Jedi Council. Jedi Council. I can't remember if it was Jedi. Yeah, Jedi Council. And they had their other show was called Movie Talk. And since I was such a huge fan, I was just like, what would be like the most simple name to make a Star Wars show? Because that way people see it and they know exactly what it is. So it's not like I even remember thinking of the term Rebel Radio, then finding out that was actually already a podcast. And I was like, well, Jedi Talk, because you know exactly what a Jedi is, and you get that that you're talking about Star Wars. So I was like, Jedi Talk it is. I did look up like if there was anyone else with that name, and there was a podcast, but it wasn't this one. It was another podcast that had not been active in like 3 or 4 years. They released 2 episodes, and that was it. So I was like, I feel like it's fair.
Yeah, this one that you're talking about is the first ever host of the first ever Jedi Talk.
First ever Jedi Talk.
Lucian Meyer, who we have back again for Star Wars Podcast
Credit
Day.
where credit is due.
So,
Absolutely.
welcome back, sir. How the hell are you?
I am really good. A lot of really exciting, cool stuff. I feel like I get to play with the future every day. So
tell us about that.
Really,
I'm excited to hear about this.
Really on a good path.
I'm excited to hear about this. I didn't tell Brad and Evan about it. You and I conversed a little bit by email, but what are you working on right now? Tell the masses.
So like I say, in preparation of today, I was just trying to get myself ready for trying to step back 20 years. But it's what I'm working on right now is I've been lucky enough to venture into my own video game studio over the last 2 years. And we've developed a video game on the Unreal 5 platform.
Hell yeah!
Which is, if you're a gamer, you'll know that's one of the elitist cool things right now. And it's a game where the player is entirely able to create a map with 50 different realistic and stylized biomes with trees and rocks and things like that. And as you terraform, the trees and rocks will fall and roll into the ocean. It's great.
That's so cool.
And
that's awesome.
As a gamer myself, I'm really enthusiastic about that part. I get lost in my own game all the time. That's pretty ridiculous.
That's cool, man.
And then on the other side of that, once you've built your world, then you can save it, share it with all your friends on Steam Workshop, and then all go play a survival type game on it. So like Conan or Ark. You can all play on this world and build houses that are destroyable and fight with each other and whatever you want to do. There's cars, there's boats. So it's kind of like, build your own video game.
That's so
It's
cool.
a lot of fun, and it's actually one step in a goal towards something I came up with long ago, which is when I saw Pac-Man when I was 8 years old in the cabinet, the first time I was like, this one day we're going to play movies. And people, there was a person next to me that kind of scoffed at me. And then I was thinking to myself, and one day we'll be able to make movies in a video game. And that's something that I never saw come to fruition. And so Creative Continents is kind of my bid to try to make that happen, where you could make movies in it. And it's just like it's the ultimate studio producer, right? Because I can control the sun, I can control the weather, I can control the ocean, I can control the characters, I can take one scene one time and then record it from multiple different angles and go back and change it. And so I'm really working towards a future tool that will allow anybody to create movies like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings in their house.
So
with the friends.
That's so freaking cool. And
that's
the first thing,
wild progression.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's called Creative Continents. The first thing I want to ask: can you put more than one sun in your world? Because I have an idea.
It is capable. It's not in the version that's out right now.
Okay.
Understand it. So from a technical point of view, if you're a gamer, we're currently on Unreal 5.03. We are actually doing an engine jump, which is pretty unheard of. Like, I don't even know of AAA studios that have done this, but we released the game fully in December, and we're jumping to Unreal 5.3.2 probably today or tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
On release. So, because the ocean came out, and the ocean was way better, and we have an AI in the studio that was like, we need to rebuild the game so that we can have this new ocean. It was like, yeah, we're planning on doing that by May, but the AI is a lot quicker than I am, so it's kind of pushed the schedule up. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna release that in the next day or two. It's really cool because this game is built modular, so the game itself will evolve with engine versions and things like that, and then mods can come in and change all the different aspects. So I have like worlds that look like Tron, and you'd be able to recreate. We've got people that have recreated Helm's Deep and more Mines of Moria from Lord of the Rings, and the options will eventually be entirely open.
That is such a badass idea.
Yeah, especially the part of just like you could film a movie inside of the game, like while playing the game. I don't know if any studio has ever even thought of that, because like we have motion capture, but that's usually using a physical space and a physical actor. And obviously we have CGI, we have Pixar and Illuminations and all that, but I don't think anyone has ever made a movie by playing a game.
But if you look at the way that the technology is evolving, so we're looking at future revisions. We're able to plug in things like left and right? Like we're getting ready to add skateboarding to the game just because. And so like that'll be like the next thing. And then we're going to put in a whole cars pack that's all customizable, and motorcycles, and it's just going to keep going basically indefinitely. And it really is a game that will just evolve to how people want to play it. But we've got this new technology we've been working with recently that allows your computer webcam to look at you, and it does.
Now to listen to all.
It sounds terrible. Allowing a webcam to look at you. No, I'm kidding. Take a listen. We met with him 2 years in a row on Star Wars Podcast Day, which is early February every year, and I haven't gotten word. I did see a post by the gentleman who runs the account at Star Wars Pod Day on Instagram and on Facebook about the launch announcement of all the shows, and there's always so many shows involved, so many great shows, so it's so cool that they do that every year, and we'd love to be a part of it this year, and hey, maybe Lucien will come back, and we can find out, or get some stories, because he goes on in that episode, and he talks about the old glory days, so with Jedi Talk, his version. But he did tease a couple of other stories that we most definitely need to have him on and talk about. So, but our fifth most listened to of the year, which I'm happy that it's on this episode, pretty much everybody's favorite ginger, even over me, local to Orlando. The very much talented Ben Crane joined us here in the Bat Cave. So, take a listen.
Atomica, I am here on the High Council. Joining me today on the regular council. Oh, and what a special, special day it is. But let me get the casualties out of the way first. Directed to my left, he's looking directly down, and he's learned the riff already.
Yeah, I did.
That's Brad Hughes. Brad, how the hell are you?
I'm good, brother. This song has been stuck in my head since I started playing it a few days ago. Yeah. It just won't I just gotta go. Dun, 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 dun,
I think we're titling it "The Galaxy's Reckoning."
Nice. That's very you.
Thank you. Directly across from Brad, I'll introduce the other one here in a second, is the mayor of Orlando, because he loves living here so much, Evan T. Boucher. Evan, how the hell are you today?
Diga and good journey. I was good until that joke happened. Ugh. Yeah, no, not so much. But yeah, great to be here. It's going to be an awesome show because we have some awesome people here. Yeah. Awesomer than usual.
We have actor, musician, and creative producer. Directly across from me, Mr. Ben Crane. Ben, what's up? Welcome to
Jedi Talk. Dude, the freaking theme song is so good.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Did you record that?
Yes. Composed it, created it.
Excellent.
Yes.
And say the name one more time.
The Galaxy's Reckoning.
The Galaxy's Reckoning.
Yeah.
They recorded it. I was the backup singer.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yes, exactly.
Our band Scourge will eventually record it. We'll eventually play it whenever. Lily's a little bit older. She's a little bit older. Scourge, that's right. Forged in the hellfires of Chicago. So Ben, how the hell are you? We're not talking about Scourge, okay? I've talked enough about that goddamn band. So
I liked that. I was here for that transition. That was a good segue right there.
It was good.
It was a good segue. I've been doing this a little bit.
I did a double segue last week.
You did.
That shit was magic.
It's a double segue, 4 wheels. That's 4 wheels.
It was basically, basically 4
wheels. Dean Kamen would be proud.
With those segways, you don't fly off the cliff and die like the founder did.
Oh no,
those are the safe segways. You know that story, right?
I don't.
The guy who founded Segway drove his Segway off a cliff.
No,
Dean Kamen.
Gosh.
Whoever was the guy that founded Segways.
I don't think he did, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'll bet money on it.
We'll say it on it. It's a law for the podcast.
Yeah. It's canon.
It's canon. Yeah.
It's head canon. Everything that happens on the internet's real.
That's great, dude. That's crazy. If that's
I
true.
may have made that up. Let me double check.
I'm fully trusting you on that, Brad. I've never heard that before.
I'm pretty sure I'm right about that.
Maybe like the guy that bought the Segway or something from the guy that invented it, because the guy that made it is Dean Kamen. And I'm pretty sure he's fine.
Dean Kamen of the Cayman Islands.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's canon.
So Ben, you're
James William Jimmy Hendelson, the owner of Segway Incorporated, at the time died in 2010 after falling off a cliff while riding a Segway.
It happened
near his home in West Yorkshire, England. Get better names, England.
Dean.
Yeah, his name is.
No, that wasn't Dean.
No, John.
James.
James.
Jimmy Hendelson.
But that was in
Jimmy. Rip Jimmy.
That was in your neck of not the woods.
Yorkshire, literally Yorkshire. Yeah, that's where I'm from.
You're British?
Oh yeah, I'm from Winchester, England.
I did not know that.
Yeah. My mom's from Lancaster, which is right near Yorkshire
That's
County.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not know that. Look at
There
that.
you go.
Today I learned. Yeah.
Today you learned.
Today you learned. There you go.
Would have never known.
Yeah,
Nope.
you're local celebrity here in Orlando and beyond that. How the hell are you feeling today? You feeling good? How's your Monday been thus far?
It's been pretty good. I was at Guitar Center before here actually because you have the good fortune of living right by Guitar Center.
I do, yes.
And I went to play a guitar I've been dying to play for a long time. You guys are you're music guys.
Yeah.
They just reissued the Troublemaker Tele, which is like a legendary Telecaster made in Japan. And
in the 80s.
Yeah, and they're crazy expensive because there's such demand. They just got one of the new ones, and it's fantastic.
You're
very,
playing
very
it?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it in your car right
that's
now?
the story.
I wish.
That was credit card.
Yeah, really though. Yeah, if I was more liquid, I would. But here we are.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
But I loved it.
Have you ever played a guitar? Like I remember, I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan. Zeppelin's my favorite band. I remember finally getting a hold of like a Gibson Les Paul and hating it. Has that ever happened to you?
Yep, Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah, dude,
Same
I
guitar.
hate that guitar.
SG. So for me, it was an SG. I also don't like Les Pauls. So sorry, Gibson guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben Bailey. He's a big Gibson guy.
They sound too muddy. Like I don't like.
Yeah,
the tone
very
of them.
mid-heavy.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of 30 Seconds to Mars, and there's a music video where Jared's playing a white SG. And I think it's Beautiful Lie music video. And I wanted a white SG so bad because of that video. Played one, was like, nope.
Yep.
I will never own one of these.
It's so annoying when that happens.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
My favorite guitar I ever played was a family friend of mine. He used to open for Aerosmith. I do not remember his band's name. Yeah, they had a record deal and shit in the 80s. Like they were.
Wow.
They were like up and coming, and then like the drummer quit or something. I forget.
Was it Dr. Teeth in the Electric Band?
Probably doing this dork.
Good.
But he had this Jackson guitar from like the 80s.
Yeah.
Dude, I was terrible when I played that thing. I sounded incredible, and I was like, I can play like this.
Jacksons are cool.
Those guitars are amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds like you all just need to get a black Les Paul. That's the solution. And have Chris grab it for you.
Wait a minute. We can't leave these people here like this.
We can't?
No.
I love that. And it's not no. He has to go, no. Like, love that.
Everything always has to go back to Disney with him as much as he hates it. It's always back to Disney. It's fucking with you, Evan. That was a very timely joke, and I enjoy hearing it every time you say it. So, yeah, go listen to the whole thing if you haven't. Listen to our chat with Ben Crane. It was a real fun one. He's so cool to chat with just about his talent with music and any of the other projects he's involved in. So good time, and he's welcome back anytime on Jedi Talk. So our fourth most listened to, now we're getting into the nitty gritty. It's entitled The Halcyon Legacy Event is Almost Here. We're finally getting a long-awaited lightsaber set to return to Batuu. So like I said, Jedi Talk was a platform to talk about these events. So these events that Halcyon Legacy Continues did this year were garnered a lot of buzz from Halcyon folks and fans who just wanted to participate and just hear about what was going on. So take a listen from that episode, our fourth most listened to of the year.
It is Tuesday. It's middle of the week. It's a special week.
Yeah.
God damn, it's a special week.
I'm excited.
It's
yeah, dude.
Me too.
It's gonna be a good time.
I think I want to kick off the episode by playing something. We haven't posted this yet, but
Jedi Talk exclusive.
Yeah, and Halcyon Legacy Continues exclusive. The Cause has a friend on Ryloth that's checking in with us, and check it out for a minute.
Am I patched through? Good. Hello, my name is Mech Annex. I don't have much time, so listen up and listen good. Ryloth needs your help. With the ongoing turbulence in the galaxy, Ryloth continues to be target number 1 for resources. Resource is power. The First Order would see to it that every last bit is squeezed from Ryloth, but there is no more history to raid here. And with no more history, we are nothing but a dead planet to the Order. The Cause is the only way out. And at this point, you should be in contact with a mutual friend of ours, Elias Orion. We met on a shipping run for his old boss. He's a good man. You can trust him, but he doesn't trust easily. He's been through it, but that's why the cause is so important. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and if you need to know where to find me, Laius has the coordinates. Friends, for the cause. Cut the transmission.
There we go.
That's
Dang, man.
fucking cool, dude.
There you have it.
It's odd hearing his voice on the show. You know what? In a good way.
Yeah.
No shade to him because he loves us and we love him. But
right.
It's yeah.
That was fun.
Awesome message.
I have a special thing too.
Yeah. This is good. We could throw it in too.
Dang.
Worked on a little something before you came here.
I've never been so
Since you
happy
were
to be
super
put to
fucking late.
shame because everyone else is coming up with awesome stuff, and I have like nothing compared to all of you. So
That's
I'm
true.
very happy
Assistant
to be
too,
so.
though. Yeah.
So
Star
put to shame.
Wars Episode 8.5, Halcyon: The Legacy continues. It's a time of great galactic turmoil and a devastating assault by the First Order. Halcyon Prime has been destroyed, and the New Republic government is no more. As the First Order strengthens its grip on the galaxy, the Resistance struggles to survive and is scattered across the galaxy. Meanwhile, a new mysterious group of freedom fighters form in the shadows known only as the Cause. On the small and remote planet Batu, 3 factions are going against each other to get their hands on a mysterious shipment from the famed merchant Doc Ondar. Made a title crawl, bro.
Nice.
Put a ticket in, make her gay.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing with that title crawl that was kind of off.
It is Tuesday.
And Kathleen Kennedy, of course, had to make herself known there. So, that was a couple days beforehand, and we got to play Mechanics drop there. Thank you to our great friend who contributed to that. And then if you've been following along with us, you know the twist that story took. So kind of fun to listen back to that. Now, number 3, speaking of said event, our third most listened to episode is when we were able to get everybody who was involved in Halcyon the Legacy Continues first event on our show. It was packed in this Batcave here with the people who were here in person, and then we had people on the phone. The most guests that Jedi Talk has ever had. So good stuff. Take a listen.
Who participated, who watched from afar, who supported, who gave us the thumbs up, who congratulated, who said thank you for putting this together, and so much more. This is officially Halcyon the Legacy Continues, a retrospective. Yeah. So let me go around here, the high and regular council. At least I know I'm on one of them here this evening. We have a lot of people. We have the whole crew.
This is the biggest show we've ever done.
It is.
Yeah.
So directly to my left, we have
go off the rails.
Brad Hughes. Oh, first and foremost, I am Tom Oakrey, a.k.a. the Cause faction leader, Laius Orion. I was stirring shit with everybody, more than others, some more than others, but I stirred a little bit of shit because he owes me some Corellian whiskey. Brad Hughes, a.k.a. Pike Rendessa. Pike, how the hell are you today?
I'm doing good, man, and I will pay you back with that Corellian whiskey as soon as you pay me with actual money.
No, just give me the Corellian whiskey. My money is good, I promise.
Sure.
I promise. Space Link will make it there.
Space Link?
Space Coin, yeah. Chain Link. It's a different. It's a better cryptocurrency.
It's a cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
in Star
it's
Wars?
a better one.
Is that your next character that you're going to do?
Sure, I will.
Crypto Star
I'll
Wars,
send crypto up your ass and to the left. Directly across from me, we had the assistant to the regional governor, but no, we had Evan T. Boucher, a.k.a. Not assistant. See, I almost said the joke. Regional governor of Hana City on Chandrila.
There you go. The whole life story.
Avant, Vilas Raric. Avant, how the hell are you tonight?
Adiga and good journey, man. To solve this whole crypto whatever. Credits are soon to be outlawed anyway, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. But Avant will have it done.
Fascist prick.
That's how it goes.
I think he's faded to the left because I only hear him in my left headphone.
Yeah, he is, and I don't know. I'll try to mess around with that to see.
Who listens to podcasts in stereo anyway?
Oh, that's true. Who does listen to podcasts in stereo? That voice you're hearing is Welcome to Jedi Talk tonight. Brian Goodwin, a.k.a. Jax Volta. Jax, how the hell are you today?
I like how you get the nice professional mic, and we all have, like, what is this, stuff from Rock Band? Or
no, hold on. You've got the Rock Band mic.
You've got
I
the
do.
bad mic. Yeah,
Brad and Evans are older and nice mics.
Ooh.
This microphone, as you'll notice, next to all the Star Wars crap, I do have lots of Metallica shit up. This is what James Hetfield uses. So
I see.
This is why I have it. Jax.
This is a Rocksmith mic, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's not as cool as a Gaia's microphone, though. So.
Ooh, we'll get there, Evan.
But
Spoiler alert.
For what? The Halcyon?
No, sure, yes.
Yeah.
Even though we already put it on our Instagram.
I know. I was surprised you guys did that.
Directly to his left, we have Rachel Ashbrook, who's joined Jedi Talk before, but she was also the resistance leader for our faction, Lieutenant Rook, and I can't remember the last name because I suck. So, hi, Lieutenant Rook. Welcome back.
I am also here. Somebody had to break up the boys' club, so we put a little beauty among the beasts.
That's fair.
So she's now tied with Lebeth for
repeats
of
Female.
women. Yeah. So you and Lebeth.
And there's two other
on Jedi
there's
Talk.
two other lovely ladies on
Yes,
the show tonight.
That
too.
is right.
So,
but they're officially making their debuts on Jedi Talk, and I'll get to them directly. I'm looking directly ahead to. I see Rachel, and Rachel's to my left as I'm looking through my Chromebook over at. She is over there. So. Sorry, guys. We have
I'm here, I'm there, I'm every
Aaron
flip and where.
Kramer, a.k.a. Zilla Naraz, who Elias Orion, I promise, had zero problems with. So how the hell are you doing, Zilla? God.
I'm doing fine, thank you. The cause is all talk, no rock.
I swear to God. Lucky you've hyperspaced on out of here.
Ooh.
God.
Don't you have some water to test?
Thanks for having us.
Sure thing. I can't wait to get talking, so we need to introduce the rest of everybody we have on here. Directly, I'm looking to my right on the Zoom screen there. So we have Joe Kramer, a.k.a. Joe Larpy, or was it Joe Larp?
Larpay?
Larpay?
Joe Larp.
Joe Larp. Our fantastic
Larpay
director.
only when I'm in, the planet of Frankia, but for now, on Batu, just bright suns, Joe Larp.
Joe Larp. Nice. Joe, how the hell are you tonight?
I am fantastic.
Excellent.
I'm excited to be out from a little behind the curtain.
That's right. That's right. And you did an excellent job. We'll get into all that, but finally, last but not least, we have our anchorite joining Jedi Talk for the first time, Taylor, a.k.a. Taylor Yesmar. Taylor, how the hell are you tonight?
I am good, thank you.
Good. The force is strong here with Jedi Talk. Just like Brad said, the most 8, right?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah. 8. This blows out of the water. Anybody we've ever had here on the show tonight. So where do you guys really want to start?
Well, we should do the opposite of Star Wars and not start in the middle. We should start in the beginning.
Oh, we're starting at the beginning?
Yes.
Well, I think one of my earliest memories was I might have been 4 years old.
Okay.
And I was...
Not that far back. We're talking about this event. We could start with George Lucas if you want.
In 1943.
Yeah, when his parents consummated.
Yeah, whatever. But I got the rough timeline here in front of us, so that can just get us kick-started here.
Let's start there.
Of course, we all have done the Star Cruiser at some point in our lives. Most of us, all of us together. Well, no, I lied. Brad and Tom were not on the one with Aaron and Joe.
Correct.
But the rest of us were secretly on the same one as Aaron and Joe. We didn't plan it or know it at the time. Just like how Brad and Tom and I and Taylor were on one secretly with Brian and Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so these webs are woven. So of course we all did the Star Cruiser, all fell in love, and then the announcement happened. We talked about it around that day, that week. Us here at Jedi Talk, we're like, wouldn't it be cool if there was some kind of meetup in Galaxy's Edge where there's a story, like the lightsaber meetups or the droid meetups, but put a story to it. And that was basically all. That was it. I wasn't smart enough to do anything more. Tom was, but he needed more people, and Brad was pitching better ideas than I had. So it was
all true, better ideas than ever.
Yes, kind of spinning its wheels, and we weren't getting a whole lot of anywhere. So this was in May-ish, whatever. So then I go on my final cruise. The anti-penultimate is, I think, what we learned it's called, and I meet Brian and Rachel, and I kind of pitched the idea to them there.
Can I stop you there?
Please.
Want to call out the spark that ignited this. Do you remember who said it? He's sitting on my couch on May 20-something.
I guess that is true.
He was the one.
Adam is the one that was
Adam Riley.
This is up to the community, basically, to do what you want
He
with
said it on Jedi Talks podcast with us.
That was after the announcement. So yeah, that weekish, we kind of had some ideas flow, and we talked to Adam. Adam was like, it's up to the community to do awesome stuff now.
Yeah, he didn't say do exactly what we ended up doing. He's like, it doesn't have to be Galaxy's Edge. It doesn't have to be this. space, but it'd be cool for people to continue it. And so,
Right.
So go on. I just wanted to make sure that was,
I completely forgot about. I don't know how I
That's
did.
wild.
But yeah, because like he's right. It's up to us to continue, not necessarily the Star Cruiser specifically, but this whole community of creation that we have. So I meet Brian and Rachel on the cruise. I pitched the idea to him. After the cruise, we have these like sabacc nights where we kind of vaguely play sabacc, but not really. We're not paying attention because we're just shooting the poodoo. But then I'm 99% sure it was Rachel. We had this roundabout way of talking about it, and I was like,
it usually is me.
So we're like, what if there's just this MacGuffin? Because every story has to have a MacGuffin. Because I was like, it can't be coaxium. I don't want to copy the Star Cruiser or Solo, and it can't be something like a holocron because I don't want to copy. So I was like, what if there's just a MacGuffin? But then I'm pretty sure it was Rachel or Brian or a combination was like, how about we do, this is a spoiler for the event, spoilers. So if you're coming to the next one we do, don't listen. But spoilers, they said, what if it's Gaia's microphone?
How did that come about?
I think we had made a microphone already.
Okay.
And you guys were blown away at how good it looked. So, and I think that triggered something in Evan's brain that was like, we need to use this.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
And then
but yeah, that episode might have been, I'd say it's probably my favorite one to do this year, hands down, yeah, easily. Our third most listened to, so appreciate that. Everyone excited to listen to it, just kind of hear about the event from start to finish in a sense, but go back and take a listen. It's good stuff. So our second most listened to of the year, as we're getting towards wrapping it up, and thank you again, by the way, is when we just chatted and made our official announcement and location of our MegaCon panel. So this again was end of January, around February. We're just like, hey, MegaCon is in 9 days, and here's the information about our panel, and we talked about some other stuff. So do enjoy.
I was like, for a second there, I'm like trying to think. It's still part, sure. Let's just go along with it.
Let's just go along with what he says. So, guys, first time we're here together since the
last show we did.
Yeah, no.
But no, for here, and we got some big things to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Tom do this because this was kind of your like mission. So I'm going to let you talk about it.
I appreciate that. So, yeah, it was our mission, and we had put it out in the waves there. We all know that in 9 days, MegaCon Orlando will be here in Orlando in the good state of Florida. It's heating back up after a tiny little cold snap. And that weekend in 9 days, Brad and Evan, is going to be very heated because Jedi Talk, a Star Wars podcast, yours truly, will officially be hosting a panel entitled The Beauty of Batuu, The Secrets and
Hidden Secrets and Details of a Galaxy Far, Far Away.
Yeah. Far, far away. Thank you. In room W310A, 2:45, February 2nd, 2024. Be there, find your seat, because it'll be sold out. This is Jedi Talk we're talking about. We're not talking about Talk Jedi.
No.
We're not talking about the original Jedi Talk.
We're not talking about Alyssa Milano or whatever it is.
Oh, Jesus.
She will be doing a panel at the same time we are, and then Don Bluth right next to us. So
I might.
Don Bluth is pretty
Brad's
awesome.
going to leave to go to
I
Don
might.
Bluth.
That's a cool idea for a panel, by the way. That's a really cool idea. Don Bluth is a legend.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he's kind of a dick, but he's a legend.
It's a good idea.
Dick meaning what he did. He's probably a nice person, but he left and took half of the Disney Animation Studio when he kicked them while they were down. Essentially.
Oh, sure.
Which also, who cares? It's your life. You do your thing.
Yeah.
So I get it. As I take it back, Don Bluth. We'll see you.
So we're gonna have lots of great, fun stuff about that. We can't wait. Brad and I were talking. We didn't tell you this, Evan, but on that Saturday we're looking to do an actual live podcast of Jedi Talk from MegaCon. So if you're there and swing by, we'll let you know where we're going to set up shop. Maybe it's right outside. I think I have a good idea where it'd be. If it's set up like last year.
Is this at the Orlando Convention Center? It is, right?
Mm-hmm. Or the Orange County
Convention Center.
Yep, the big ass.
Hell yeah.
We're walking because parking. I can't.
You can definitely walk.
I'm not paying that. No way. So if y'all want to park at our place and walk, feel free. But
that's the plan for me.
Yeah, feel free.
You're gonna walk too.
Mm-hmm.
I might.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I'm not paying that
Courtney
much
dropped
money.
me off last
Depends
year.
on how hot it is. I don't want to get there and be all sweaty because it's hot already in there.
I'm already packing like 3 different shirts. I'm not dressing up or anything, but I'm packing shirts
You're
because
not?
I'm going to be gross. Like I
Why
think
are you
for
not dressing
the
up?
for the
That's
Avant
like your
Riley
thing.
Sverick thing, I'm probably gonna. But
Okay.
the other days I'm not.
I was like, that's like your thing, man.
Yeah, sometimes my costumes aren't like up to par. So like, I'd rather
Yes,
just
they are.
go.
No,
as go as
first
a
off,
guy.
I think you have a misconstrued conception of what conventions are like, because there are some people
Fair.
that go like crazy, and then there's
Yeah.
people that walk around Celebration as Max Rebo that was like the Halloween costume from like '87. So like,
Nice.
it's not, you can dress
Yeah,
up.
or
There's no
yeah.
barrier to entry for that. There's just some people that go like way over the top, and there's some
Yeah.
people that wear like a t-shirt.
A
I thought
Halloween
about
costume.
getting a white t-shirt and jeans and going as Philip J. Fry.
It works. It totally works.
That would be spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, that
I already have the
leads-
red hoodie, so like it would just
There
need,
you go.
I would
Yeah.
just need that.
There you go.
That leads to like all my excitement because this is my first convention ever, like attending and hosting. Obviously,
that's
so,
awesome.
Like I've never been. I went to a couple of really really small Lego conventions. I don't really count them as awesome as they were, but like it was just like the room maybe the size of like a high school gymnasium. That had
Oh,
Legos.
yeah, no,
that's
this
not like
is-
a convention.
Yeah,
you know,
this
like,
is a big deal.
Yeah, so like my first convention as a guest, that's me, and now my first convention as a host. I guess it's wild.
We're all nerds. I mean, are you kidding? We have a fucking Star Wars podcast, for God fucking sake. I've got thousands upon thousands of dollars in collectibles. Like I have toys looking at me. Nerds. All of us. And you are too for listening to us. But the most listened to Jedi Talk episode of the year is an Evanless episode. So that should say something. No, it shouldn't. But it coincidentally, it's a topic we spoke about, and Evan just wasn't there that day at work or something. And it's just wasn't even close. It was probably the most heated, debated thing surrounding a 4-hour video I've ever seen in my life. So listen to our take on it, and then I'll come back, and you'll hear me wish you a Happy New Year. For the last time.
Video, which I didn't like. It's like, did you go to guest services? Did you go to the Blue
She
Crew?
said she
Like,
didn't.
Yeah, and it was just
In the
like, did you
video.
try? Was there any motivation to? Did you not want to break immersion because you kept talking about that, but you just had to get fixed? Like, there's got to be protocols for that. You were also like, I think she was like the 6th or 8th, the 6th cruise, the 6th voyage.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I was actually wondering
Is
what cruise
Mar-
she was
March
on.
22. I know that.
Okay.
So very early on.
Pretty early on, yeah.
But one of the things I also want to say
Do
is,
you feel slighted we didn't get invited to go do some TikTok dances on the bridge?
I am so happy. I don't ever. I put that in part of my notes. I just put the TikTokers.
Oh, fuck.
Let's get
Could
to
you
that in a
imagine
second. Hold
being
on,
an
hold on.
adult? Oh,
no,
my God.
no. Let me say one thing. What again with a video like this? What's frustrating as somebody who loves a property like this, who went out and voyaged and had different experience than Jenny did, is she has a large following, and it's just human nature. A lot of people, they don't want to divulge their time or experience something maybe because they couldn't, so they're going to get this feedback from an individual a source that they trust or a source that they're into, and they're going to take it all as like authentically the Constitution or the Bible. Like they're
Sure.
going to take it as, oh, that's exactly what happened. One of the
Well, to be fair, it is what happened to her.
1,000% correct.
You know?
But that's not what happened to everybody.
No. And I think she puts her experience as the only experience, and kind of, because she also says that she saw people having a great time while she was on the ship. I'll talk more about it when we get further in.
Yeah, this is and I also want to stress too, I truly appreciate her opinion because like I think she's the, and I don't know, I'm not going looking for this either, but she's like the biggest or mainstream, I don't know, again, I know who she was before this, but I think she's the biggest name with the most views that I've seen talk poorly about this. Like,
sure.
Like her experience was truly crappy. And yeah, because like the sitting behind the pole thing for dinner, that just like was frustrating. That's, I don't know how.
And also, have you ever had one of those days in the parks where like everything's down, you get in line?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah,
I feel like that's the experience she had with this, and it's like that doesn't mean that everyone else in the park that day is having a great time, but it also doesn't mean that her experience isn't valid just because everyone loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think people need to keep that in mind. Like her opinion is completely valid,
and
it's well thought out. It's not like she's just saying I hate it.
Yeah.
If you actually go and watch I know people. I've talked to people today that were like, I'm not going to watch it because it's like, well, you're kind of doing what you're accusing her of doing. And the people who haven't gone, like,
oh, hold on.
Hang on.
All right.
You're saying that like people, you get mad when people go like, oh, the Halcyon sucked, but you're like, well, you didn't even go on it. It's like, well, you're doing the same thing now because you're going like, I don't want to see this video.
Sure.
and you're not giving it a chance because you're not watching it. You don't know exactly what's being said.
Right.
You kind of think you do, but I promise you don't. I mean, she praises it in a lot of ways.
Sure, she does. Yeah, there was a lot of things I agreed with her on the good side of things. What I was saying is, if somebody just doesn't want to watch this video,
fine.
It just like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, as long as you're not sitting there ripping on her for having an opinion on it.
Exactly. That's what I was.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Because that's how I feel. Like somebody could just be like, whatever. I'm not going to watch it because you feel how you feel. Your experience was your experience.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like that's your experience.
Yeah,
she's allowed to not have a good time.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have the best time ever.
Sure,
totally
like.
Fine.
And that it's just I haven't thought about this video in a while, but I still feel very much about that. It's just like don't watch. Who cares? She said what she said. A lot of people saw it. A lot of those people consuming that and commenting on it never went on the house, and they never intended to. So they're forming their opinion, confirmation bias that tells them, "Yep, I would have felt this way anyway." But she had some valid points too. As much as you may not want to admit or say one thing, she did. Specifically surrounding the marketing, and especially with her experience, it was shitty. And I invested those 4 hours for the podcast, and it ended up being our most listened to episode of the year because it was so controversial. Eric Bischoff always had said controversy. Oh, somebody call 911, Christ, creates cash. It's been a day. So thank you, everybody, again, for joining, listening at Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram, youtube.com/Jedi Talk. You have yourself a happy new year. May the Force be with you. Rise, Jedi Knight.